Welcome! I tried to get Nolan to do that, but he didn't. Welcome. Maybe you can hear the rain. Maybe you can't. At any rate, here we go.
I will sing anything from you. I'll lay it all out. I'll lay it all down. Most deserving of my best. All of me till nothing's left. I'll lay it all out. I'll build an altar on the earth. Come and take what you deserve. I'll lay it all out. I'll lay it all out. Sing your name. And I remember when all I longed to do is give you praise. Sing that again, I remember. Oh, and I remember when all I knew to do was sing your name. Yes, and I remember when all I longed to do was give you praise. Jesus light, the first love fire, come and be my one desire. Jesus light, the first love fire, come and be my one desire. Jesus light, the first love fire, come and be my one desire. Again, I wanna fall in, I wanna fall in, I wanna fall in love with you again. Back to the start where it was all about one thing. I wanna fall in love with you. Sing it again. I wanna fall in. I wanna fall in love with you again. Back to the start when it was all about one thing. I wanna fall in love with you again. With you again. With you Jesus light, in Jesus light, the first love fire, come and be my one desire. Jesus light, this first love fire, come and be my one desire. Jesus light, the first love fire, so come and be my one desire. Jesus light, the first love fire, come and be my one desire. Jesus light, the first love fire, come and be my one desire. Jesus light, the first love fire, come and be my one desire. Jesus light, the first love fire, my one desire. Sing it again. Jesus light, the first love fire, come and be my one desire. I wanna fall in, I wanna fall in, I wanna fall in love with you again. Back to the start when all about one thing. I wanna fall in love with you again. Back to the start when it was all about one thing. I wanna fall in love with you. One more time again. So take me back to the start when it was all about one thing. I wanna fall in love with you again. With you again. One more time, Jesus. for my soul. In the depths of your love, I find peace, makes me whole. I love
Sweet. You may hear a pop. Oh, mine's not bad. All right, well, I'm using Jahan's mic today. You can probably take me down in the house. I think that's what's ringing. I'm using Jahan's mic today, and so it's got a lot of lipstick on it. I'm going to see if you can see this. Ew, you can see that on there. It's a bunch of red. So if I get done today and it looks like I'm a geisha, that's why. Clorox doesn't really do anything for this type of lipstick, I found out. So that's real fun. Okay, so I have a couple of announcements, then we're going to get rolling. You can probably just tank me in the house because of that latency. It's going to drive me bonkers. All right, so we've talked in the past about me having a bullhorn to talk to you guys with. And guess what? Your boy got one. It doesn't have any batteries in it, so you can't tell, but Stephen Roche came by and gave me a bullhorn so I can stop yelling into an orange cone outside. So I don't know how loud it is because it doesn't have batteries, but it's going to be sweet. So announcement number 1. Get ready for that. All right, second announcement. Next week, so the first week of November, we are going to push our theme night to that night. Okay, so we are going to have our decade night this coming Wednesday. Okay, so come dressed as your, maybe not your favorite decade, but a decade or whatever. It doesn't have to be in this century or the past century. I'll just say that. So just come as your favorite decade. And then the following Friday, I think it's November 7th. I don't have my phone or watch on me at the moment, so I can't really tell. Oh, but I can do this. I think it's November 7th. Oh my gosh, okay, it won't keep going. The Friday, the first Friday of November, we're going to be having our bonfire that night, okay? So we'll have a movie, we'll have popcorn, we'll have s'mores, we'll have chili, Fritos, that whole thing. So it'll kind of be like Petro's, but not all the toppings. So chili with Fritos. So come ready for that. That'll be fun. All right. I think those are all the announcements that I need. Oh, yeah, okay. One more thing. Our event this Friday where we were going to hand out drinks and hot dog vouchers at the high school football game has been canceled, just in response to all the uptick with COVID. We decided it would be in very poor taste if we just went out there and was like, hey, take this stuff. And we were not within the 6 feet guideline and stuff like that. So we're just like, yeah, better not do that. So that is canceled this Friday. So there you go. So last week we talked about throwing up. And so Nolan. And so I joked with my wife that I was going to talk about something else very similar to that, diarrhea. But no, I'm not going to talk about that. But I am going to talk about something as equally disgusting. What is it? It's fear. Okay, so we're going to talk about fear tonight. So when we talk about fear, I don't want to stay too bogged down and just be like, hey, let's talk about fear tonight. But when we talk about fear, so many times we can get derailed. Just in our life, in our thought process, what we're doing, we get so derailed when it comes to fear. It's almost just like this blockade that comes up and we just can't move past it. So a lot of us sometimes get scared about what the future may hold. So some of you may have questions like, how am I going to pay for my car? How am I going to pay for my car insurance? How am I going to get new tires? How am I going to pay for college? How am I going to do all this stuff? A lot of this stuff revolves around money. Ironically, a lot of the stuff that we fear involves money. We'll talk about that later. But what about if we have this thought that what if I try this and I fail? I really care about this thing, so I don't want to try it and fail because I have this fear of failure. What if this doesn't happen? So instead of just going for it and trying it, we get paralyzed and we just sit still in our tracks because we're scared of something that may happen. Okay, so here's kind of this working definition of fear, if you have. So fear is cultivated when we think about the future and imagine the worst case possible, the worst case scenario possible, and we imagine what could happen. So fear in and of itself tries to dictate so much of our lives, and it's not even a real thing. Fear is not tangible, and it's not even present. It's nothing, you don't fear things that happened in the past because it's already happened. So it's not okay, I'm afraid that I'm going to do this that I already did. No, that would be ludicrous. But we think to the future, and so we have this fear. So this is the past, just so you know, past, present, future, okay? So we have fear of what could happen in the future. And so it's this fabricated, conjured up idea we have in our head. That's all fear is. Fear is not even real. So fear is just this thing that tries to paralyze us in our tracks. And so I just want to kind of put this idea out there for you. I am going to be pretty quick tonight just because I know it's online, and I don't want you all just being like this for 30 minutes looking at the thing. So I'll be pretty quick. But I want to just pose this idea to you that fear is a choice. Fear is not something that you're subjected to fear is not autonomous. I'll say that. Fear does not operate in and of itself. It's almost like a parasite. So a parasite has to latch on to another living organism in order to survive. That's what a parasite does. And so fear is a parasite. Fear has no power in and of itself because it's not even real. But what happens is fear piggybacks off of our authority, and it actually becomes, we create real things out of the fear because we partner with the fear. But if we choose not to partner with the fear, it loses power. It loses all authority because fear is not autonomous. Fear is a choice that you get to decide if you're going to stay in the realm of fear or if you're going to come out of it. So here are a couple scriptures for you just to kind of solidify that for you. So in Isaiah it says, "But now this is what the Lord says, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine." In Joshua it says, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be terrified, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And then again in Isaiah 35, it says, tell everyone who is discouraged, be strong and don't be afraid. God is coming to your rescue. So every one of those scriptures speaks about fear or discouragement being a choice. So it says you can either choose like, hey, don't be afraid, but be courageous. So it's not this idea of like, okay, when you come out of fear, like when you don't feel it anymore, then you can start to be courageous. But he's saying like, even in the midst of your fear, you have the choice. You have the power to decide if you're going to stay in fear, to live in fear, or are you going to be powerful and choose to come out of agreement with fear and choose to live in courage and just moving forward and strength. So strength and courage is the exact opposite of fear. So it's a choice. It's God presents us with this choice. And so we are able to choose it. So this is the part where I was thinking about this, that this could sound a lot like a self-help book or a self-help teaching. I don't know if you guys are familiar with any of those, but it's these things that were just like, you have the power to do this. You can change your future. Like it's that Shia LaBeouf thing of like, just do it to your mind, make it happen, do it. Like those are like the self-help things. Shia LaBeouf has never really helped me in doing that. It's scared me sometimes. But I've come out of fear of Shia LaBeouf. No, so it's not just this, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. But it's because of what Jesus has already done that we are able to come out of agreement with fear and into strength and courage and moving forward. So again in Isaiah, it says, do not fear, for I am with you. Just stop right there. Do not fear, for I am with you. So right there, that gives us the recipe for why we get to choose to come out of fear. So if God was some far off, distant being that was not intertwined in the daily routine of our lives, then we would have something to fear, because we would know that the God of the universe, the God of Abraham, the God who created everything was not with us. Then yeah, maybe I would be pretty frightened all the time. But he says that do not be afraid, do not fear, because I'm with you. So because of the fact that God is with you, you have the choice, you have the ability to choose to come out of fear and into motion and into life, into strength, into courage because of that. So it goes on to say, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not anxiously look about you, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Surely I will help you. Surely I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Because the Father is with us, we have the ability, we have the choice to choose to come out of fear, to come out of agreement with fear. And so when I was thinking about this, I was reminded of these, some of the fears that I would have just probably in the past year or so. And ironically, like they had to do with like money and the IRS. The IRS does scare me. I don't know anything about the IRS. They're like this looming thing that's like, I feel like they're gonna get me. But this thing was happening where we had to pay our taxes, okay? So, and it was a lot of money. So there was this deadline that had to happen, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we don't have the money to pay this. Like, what is gonna happen? So I can remember laying in bed and like waking up at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And like when you wake up like from a dead sleep, and then like your mind just goes to like something that you're fearful about. Like there's been studies, and I don't remember off the top of my head, but like you don't rationalize very well, like right when you wake up or in the middle of the night, like the part of like your critical thinking like is not there. So I was just like imagining the most irrational ideas that were going to happen. Like I was afraid that like the IRS was going to come and like impound my car. They were going to take my home away, and they were going to like put me in jail because I didn't pay this on time or whatever. And so just fast forward a little bit. We paid on time. We're good. Me and the IRS, we're chill now. But it was this unknown. Like I didn't know what was going to happen. And so I just had this fear. And so it sounds silly talking about it now, but like in the moment, like it was paralyzing. And I can just remember like not moving and just being like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And these thoughts are just like racing in my head. But in the midst of that, I had to make a choice. I was like, okay, one, I need to go to sleep, and I'm not sleeping like this. but two, like, I can't live this way. I can't live in fear of what may or may not happen. 99% of the time, it's not going to happen. And so I had to make this choice. Like, all right, God, like, I'm just asking that you cover me in peace. I'm wanting to come out of fear. And so I'm asking that you supplement fear for something else. And so it wasn't just like I would ask God to, like, take fear away, but I would say, hey, would you take fear and replace it with peace? And so where it was just this overwhelming, like, heaviness of fear, it wasn't just like the fear, like, went away, but the fear went away, but peace came. So it was like this double whammy. So it wasn't just like, oh, it's not like, okay, this is a weird, I'm not going to go. Okay, I'm just going to tell you where my mind went. Talking about, like, having, like, an infection in your leg, and it's like this leprosy or whatever that's, like, eating your flesh in your leg. And so, like, asking God, it's like, hey, would you heal me of this leprosy? And it's not that just like he heals you of leprosy and then you're still left with what the leprosy did, but he gets rid of the leprosy and gives you a new leg. And so, like, that's what happens with fear. Is it's not just like he takes fear away, but he takes fear away and then supplements it with peace, with restoration, with strength, with comfort, all that sort of stuff. But fear is a choice that we can choose to come into agreement with or come out of agreement with. So I just want to leave you with that, is that fear is not autonomous. Fear does not work on its own. It has to piggyback off of your agreement and your authority. So if you want to break the back of fear in your life, you need to break the back of your agreement with fear in your life. It's not just that, oh, one day I'm not going to feel it anymore and I won't be fearful, but it's going to be because you made a powerful decision to side with the Father and say, I'm not going to be afraid because I know you're with me. So I'm going to ask for you to supplement peace for this fear that I have. So, fear is not autonomous. Fear is a choice. And there's always a transition, an exchange that can happen with fear in your life, whether it be of what you're doing or what happens in the future of this unknown. There can always be a transition of fear and peace that the Father will give you because he's the Prince of Peace. We talked about that before, that it's the prince's job of a kingdom to allocate resources to the people who live in the kingdom. And so if he's the Prince of Peace, it means that he has a wealth of peace in his storehouse of heaven. So if we even want to think about, like, so let's say, like, this is a token of peace. So Jesus has, like, an infinite amount of these pieces of peace. And so it's not just like, oh, okay, I hope you feel better, but it's actually his job as the Prince of Peace to give us peace when we ask for it. That's who he is. It's not just something that he does, but it's who he is as the Prince of Peace. So I just want you to find comfort in knowing that there's always an exchange that can happen with your fear and then the peace that Jesus will give you because we know that he's with us. All right, God, I just ask that you would give us encounters of peace and comfort beyond our understanding. I ask that you would not only eradicate fear, but that you would take it away and heal the parts that fear hoped to attach to. And I ask that you would give us clear vision for the future, that we would know that we have a future of hope and of restoration, of peace. And that's what our future holds because we're with you and you're with us. So I just ask that you would cover your bride in peace, in comfort, and restoration. In Jesus' name, so be it. Next week, we'll be live, not online, but in person. Theme night, decade night. Come as your favorite decade. Matt, take us out.